Good morning, class. Here we are in our very last chapter of April Adventure. We did it. We did a whole book this way. When we were last with the kids, they were at the petting zoo with Mr. Neater. Remember him? And they picked up some extra swan eggs to see if they could put it where the golden ones are. But they haven't done the switcheroo yet. So let's see how that goes. Here we are, Chapter 9, Happy Swans, Hungry Kids. While they waited, the kids played with the baby goat. He nibbled on their fingers and licked the palms of their hands. Okay, we're all set, Tom said a few minutes later. He came back with a tall man wearing a green sweatshirt like his. This is Luke. He's a volunteer like Mr. Neater, and he's going to help us. Luke was carrying a plastic kiddie pool. We use this for ducklings, he said, but it'll be perfect for your project. The 3 adults, 4 kids, and Pal headed back to Center Park. Can you take us to the swan's nest? Tom asked. Sure, Bradley said. He and Pal led the way. Look, Lucy whispered as they approached the nest. One of the swans was lying on the nest. The other one swam in the pond nearby. The mother is on the nest, Luke whispered. Her mate keeps an eye on her to make sure she's safe. That poor mother swan is trying to hatch the eggs, Mr. Neater said. Okay, to make this work, we need to get her off the nest, Luke said. He walked toward the nest, waving the kiddie pool. The mother swan hissed at him, but she hopped off her nest and backed away. Never taking her eyes off the humans, she waded into the pool. She joined her mate and glared at the intruders. With the mother swan out of the nest, everyone could see the golden Easter eggs. Mr. Neater removed the eggs and handed them to the 4 kids. Suddenly, the mother swan streaked over toward the kids, hissing and snapping her beak. Luke and Tom waved their arms, and she went back to the pond, but she did not look happy. It's okay, Mama Swan, Mr. Neater said. Pretty soon you'll have babies to keep you busy. Ready to get wet? Tom asked Luke and Mr. Neater. He kicked off his sneakers. How deep's the water? Mr. Neater asked. He was pulling off his socks and shoes. Not very, Luke said, removing his sneakers. I helped clean up some litter last year. I only got wet up to my knees. Can we help? Bradley asked. Absolutely, Tom said. After all, this was your idea, but first this. Very gently, Tom took the 2 real swan eggs out of his sweatshirt pocket. He laid them in the center of the swan's nest. Now let's gather around the nest, Tom said. All 7 of us will lift it together and place it inside the kiddie pool. Be careful not to let the nest break apart, Mr. Neater said. On a count of 3, they picked up the nest and set it into the plastic pool. Great, Tom said. Now Mr. Neater, Luke, and I will float it out to the island. I think the water is too deep for you kids. The 3 adults waded into the water. They floated the kiddie pool with the swan nest inside between them. The 2 swans hissed and flapped their wings. They followed the group to the island. Check that out. How about that? Bradley, Brian, Lucy, and Nate watched them lift the nest out and set it on the island rocks. Then the 3 adults came back with the kiddie pool. This should be interesting, Tom said. He sat on the shore. Let's watch and see what they do. The 2 swans swam up to the little island. They stretched their long necks and looked inside their nest. Then they both began grunting. They've seen the eggs, Bradley said. It took just a few seconds for the mother swan to sit on the eggs. Her mate stayed near the nest. I think the problem has been solved, Mr. Neater said. He grinned at the kids. That was a great idea. So now the raccoons and snakes won't be able to get their eggs, right? Nate said. That's right, Tom said. Where the nest was before, any creature could sneak up and steal the eggs while Mama Swan was off the nest. But now if a raccoon or snake swims to the island, the swans would see it coming and fight it off. And trust me, Luke said, swans are excellent fighters. They all sat on the bank and watched the swans for a while. Oh, I can't wait to see the babies, Lucy said. Come back in about 2 weeks, Tom said. Baby swans are called cygnets, and they're really cute. After a while, Bradley stood up. Well, we have our golden eggs, he said. Let's go home and get our treasure. The kids thanked Mr. Neater, Tom, and Luke. Then they headed across the park toward Bradley and Brian's house. 5 minutes later, the 4 kids and Pal burst into the kitchen. Dink, Josh, and Ruth Rose were at the table playing Monopoly. We got 'em, Bradley announced. They each placed one golden egg on the table. Yeah, now we want the treasure, Nate said. And I hope it's not Monopoly money. It's not money at all, Josh said. He walked over to the refrigerator. See, I told you it's food, Bradley said. Good, because I'm starving, Brian said. Josh opened the fridge and pulled out 4 tall chocolate Easter bunnies. Awesome, Nate said. Right away, he broke off a chocolate ear and began chewing. So where did you guys find the golden eggs? Dink asked. It's a long story, Bradley said. Dink, Josh, and Ruth Rose just looked at him. So, we're waiting, Ruth Rose said. We fought off a giant snake, Nate said. And a pack of hungry raccoons, Brian added. And we had to swim in the pond, Lucy put in. The 3 older kids stared. Is this all true? Josh asked. Bradley licked his chocolate bunny. Of course it's true, he said. Would we tell a lie before Easter? The end. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. I think my favorite part was the snake. That was the scariest part to me. Oh my stars, what a fun story. I'll tell you what, I got more. I went shopping on Amazon. I picked out some things that I think are going to be really fun for us to read on this video. Keep checking for new stuff. I'm going to keep on doing new books. I'll see you soon, friends. Bye.